Welcome, faculty and staff. My name is Galen Grigas, and I'm the author of Trigger Proof Your Way to Success, 12 Tools to Keep Your Cool and Confidence. And we're going to be learning about effective customer service and positive people skills, using the 12 tools to help you keep your cool and confidence. No matter if you're working with elementary-aged students or college students, these tools are going to help you be more effective and help you keep your cool and confidence. We're going to use our tools to become relationship specialists. And what are we going to learn during this time together? Relationship building, stress reduction, communications, positive motivation, empowerment, and how about a little bit more peace of mind? I welcome you to this because we're going to put relationships back into school relations. And I bet you if you went to school tomorrow and you said, I am happy to serve you, they might be surprised. But it is a pleasure to serve you. And we serve each other. And the better we serve each other, the more pleasure we put into our workday. So, is everybody a pleasure to work with? No. And here comes the 70-20-10 rule. 70% of the people that you're going to be in relationship with, working with, coworkers, students, are going to be very nice. If you treat them in a kind and polite way, they will treat you in the same way. 20% of the people, it doesn't really matter how you treat them because they're basically happy people. Isn't that nice? 10% of the people that you're going to be dealing with are miserable. And what does misery love? Company. That's right. And who do they want to make their company? You. So you're going to learn how to manage yourself better with that 10%. And also how to care for yourself and care for others, and the tools to become a relationship specialist. The extra bonus is this is not only going to help you professionally, but it's going to help you personally as well. Part of what I'm going to be teaching you is a very easy to understand form of cognitive behavioral psychology. And cognitive just refers to what? Our thoughts, that's right. And how our thoughts affect our feelings and our behaviors and our actions or reactions. Now, what bothers me or pushes my buttons doesn't bother you necessarily. We are all wired differently. Everybody's buttons are different. And during this course of study, it would be good for you to have a trigger-proof buddy, somebody that you could talk to about what you're learning and process a little bit and internalize it and relate it to your own life and personal experiences. We all have pressures of daily living, deadlines at work, money to pay the bills, problems with family and loved ones. Sometimes it's getting ready for the holidays, doing more with less financially, encounters with traffic, noise, crowds, maybe a death of a loved one or an illness in the family, a new home, birth or adoption, even a new job. Even good things can be stressful. Hurricanes, storms, extreme temperatures, all of these things add to the pressures of our daily living. And what are some of those symptoms? Fatigue, chronic headaches, irritability, changes in appetite, memory loss, low self-esteem, withdrawal, tooth grinding, cold hands, high blood pressure, shallow breathing, nervous twitches, lowered sexual drive, insomnia and other sleep changes, and gastrointestinal disorders. My goodness, that's a lot of symptoms, and it's all stress-based. And we realize that 80% of all of our major illnesses are stress-based, including cardiovascular disease, cancer, endocrine and metabolic diseases, skin disorders, infections, and other ailments. Now, how are we going to make the difference? We're going to be working on the inside, where behavior begins. And we cannot change other people. We can only change ourselves. And how do we change ourselves? From the inside. Now let's take a quick look at the triggering process. First, I have a perception. It's as though all of us are wearing our own lenses of perception. And that perception triggers a thought, and that thought triggers a feeling, and that feeling triggers a response or an action or reaction. Now I'm slowing this way down, but how fast does this happen? In a millisecond. It happens very fast. Now, also important to remember is that we have different parts of our brain. When we're in the prefrontal cortex, or the front of our brain, that is our rational. That is where we make our decisions from. I like to call it the executive suite, and you'll see why. Now, at the base of our brain, it's called the reptilian brain. And it's called the reptilian brain for a reason, because there's only two options in the reptilian brain: fight or flight. And it's important for us to realize there's no rational in the reptilian. There is only two options: fight or flight. Have you ever tried to rationalize with somebody who was in reptilian? It doesn't work so well. And it's really important that we stay in our own executive center of our brain. So we are reprogramming our own thinking and feeling to a higher level of functioning. It gets real dicey when both people are on reptilian. And if you're at work, that can be an incident report. So we don't want to do that. So we want to stay in the rational mind, the executive center of the brain. I like to call it the executive suite. So just point to your head right now and say to yourself, I stay in my executive suite. That's the decision making. That's the rational. That's where we want to stay, in the executive suite. That's where we are. Now, here's my family. You can see that I have a multicultural family. I have 5 children altogether, 2 biological, and my 3 youngest are all adopted from foster. Now, we get our buttons pushed too. And some of my children are special needs, especially my little Kelsey. Kelsey was very hurt as a child and never picked up. She was like a little kitten that had not been picked up, not been cuddled, not been held. And so you can only imagine in those first years of her life how difficult it must have been. In fact, when I had first met Kelsey at 3 years old, she was pre-verbal, had very little language except no and crying, and she scratched a lot. So we had a lot of work to do with Kelsey. But I am so proud to say that today, Kelsey is in the gifted program. So I'm not only talking to you from the position of an author, a psychotherapist, and an educator, but as a mom who's really used these tools to help my own children. And so here's me, but guess what? I get my buttons pushed too. I can't believe it happened again. I say that to myself sometimes. So I'm teaching you and I'm teaching myself at the same time. Now, we're going to discover what triggers us, because I have created a 35-question true and false quiz. And on this quiz, you're going to discover your own level of vulnerability. And this is important because then you can really pin down the areas that you need to work in most and become the relationship specialist. Now, very quickly, I'm going to go through all the 12 tools. Hold on to your remote control is tool 2. Tool 3 is keep the doorknob of your life on the inside. Tool 4 is pattern interruption. Tool 5, learning to redo mistakes. Tool 6, don't bite the hook. Tool 7, refuse to take things personally. It's not about you. Tool 8, evict people renting space in your head. Tool 9, avoid the misery addict or the bully. Tool 10, choose your battles wisely. Tool 11, every thought that comes into your head should not fall out of your mouth. And tool 12, the attitude advantage, being resilient. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is take your 35-question true and false quiz. And please be honest with yourself, because the more honest you are, the more you're going to get out of this. I can't wait to see you in the next module. All right, now it's your opportunity to take the Trigger Proof quiz. There's 35 questions, and they're all true and false. Now, the most important thing is you answer these questions as honestly as you can. The more honest you are with yourself, the more you're going to get out of the 12 tools. So go ahead and take your Trigger Proof quiz now.